the NFL and what Taylor was talking about. Let's get opening statements. Taylor Lewan, get us started.
Buy in.
Thank you for the brief introduction, Greeny. I've got a bit of a qualm when it comes to the AFC North. I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they might think they're flying high, but I have a belief the cream will rise to the top. And that cream is the Baltimore Ravens, although sitting at 2-5 by December 7th, will reign supreme.
Why do you sound like Jerry Jones?
I think that's halfway good. No, that's halfway good.
We're getting somewhere.
That's halfway good.
And it's a good opening statement. Will Compton, you are next. Give me an opening statement this week and make it spicy.
The number one seed coming out of the AFC will be the New England Patriots.
Wow.
There are only two New England Patriots. There are only two potential losses I see on the back half of the schedule. Their offense does nothing but continue to get better. Drake May, over the last 4 games, almost 900 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, league-leading 75% completion rate, a whopping 11.1 yards per attempt. Their defense is top 5 in points. Their run defense, number 2 in the league. The New England Patriots, boys, number 1 seed in the AFC.
I like it. That's spicy. Hawk, give me one.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft is the best tight end in the NFL, and I've been sitting on this for a while, but I think last week really brought it to the forefront. He went down the field, he went short, he went for 143 yards last week. 128 of those were yards after catch, which is leading any receiver in the NFL this season. 70% of his yards are yards after catch. The boy is a beast. He's tight end 1.
Let's talk about that one more a little bit later, too. I like that take. And then, Dan, get us to the game of the week.
Yeah, this is a must-win for Buffalo, and I go back to why last season ended the way it did. If you go to this matchup at home in Buffalo, Josh Allen has that massive run on 4th down that basically salts the Chiefs away. And then you go to the playoff game, that 4th down that was on the road in Kansas City where he's running around against that pressure, no plan for the protection, and it's a Hail Mary heave up, which ends up being somewhat of a drop by Kincaid. For Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl, that game in the playoffs has to be played in Western New York.
Oh, but that's 2 4th down plays that made the difference last year, right?
One was at home and one was on the road.
And again, these teams, this is the 10th time. What did you say? It's the 10th time they've met?
Since 2020, this will be the 10th time that these two quarterbacks who aren't in the same division have met. 10 times.
That's crazy.
Since 2020. That's unbelievable.
What a treat that is for all of us as football fans. I always describe it as a heavyweight matchup between these two. It's like Ali, Frazier 10, if you will. But so here's the thing. This was supposed to be Buffalo's year, right? When it started, they didn't have to travel out of the Eastern time zone. They're favored in every game they play. And all of a sudden, Will Compton is over there credibly saying the New England Patriots might wind up winning that division and being the 1 seed. What has happened to Buffalo, and in particular, what is going on with Josh?
Josh has not played well, and he's going to have to play better this weekend to beat Kansas City. I think the 2 things that stand out are, number 1, he's played very frustrated, and that's one of the reasons why that he's taken more sacks. He's ran around and held on to the football. There hasn't been a ton of explosive plays downfield. He's made some poor decisions that haven't been on the same page with his receivers. And the second thing is this. For a 5-year stretch, he was the best quarterback in football dealing with pressure. Best quarterback in football, and really it wasn't close. His QBR in that stretch was like 66 versus pressure, okay, for context. Right now, it's at 32. So he's half the quarterback he has been when it comes to dealing with the pressure. He used to kill people with it. So he's going to have to play a lot better than he has this year for this offense to play the way they want, and certainly to beat Kansas City.
There are those numbers. And, Hawk, one of the questions we bring up all the time is, does he have the weapons on the outside to be the quarterback that was the MVP that we expect?
You're only as good with pressure as your outlets, and he's suffering in that department on the outside. They're having trouble separating. They really don't have answers down the field, so they got to start to figure this out because Josh Allen's special quality is his ability to push the ball down the field. This is 3rd downs from last game. You're seeing in these moments when there is pressure and he needs outlets, these DBs are breaking with their receivers almost sometimes before they're breaking. So for a quarterback, again, that is looking for quick answers, and receivers are play calling that is not giving him open opportunities or outlets to get away from it, there's going to continue to be issues. The play calling is affecting the receivers are affecting the play calling, and both of them are affecting Josh Allen this season.
So, Schefter, the trade deadline is, 5 days away?
Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern.
What do you think?
A lot of people believe the Buffalo Bills are in the market to add a wide receiver. Look, Dalton Kincaid didn't play in the Monday night loss against Atlanta. Josh Palmer now is missing time due to an ankle injury. They have some injuries, and they have some need there anyway. They could use another receiver. They have made calls. They'll continue to make calls. We'll see if they can get something done by the trade deadline on Tuesday.
And I should clarify for the receivers. They have talent. Shakir is incredible.
Yeah.
Get the ball in his hands.
Shakir's been at yards after the catch.
He's at yards after the catch. There are elements that are missing to right-size their receiving core. Like Keon Coleman is going to continue to develop, but they need a threat downfield. They need a threat on that third level of the defense, because without that, Josh Allen isn't the Josh Allen that we're used to.
I find this fascinating because, Will, you're sitting here at the beginning of our show telling us you believe the Patriots wind up winning the division, but you also think the Bills are going to win this game on Sunday.
Good news for the Bills is James Cook is running his ass off. Like anytime he's 19, 20 touches a game, like he's getting over around 150 plus yards. Like they have a running game. They got away from it against Atlanta. They went back to it a lot last week and leaned on James Cook heavy. Like where Kansas City struggles a little bit stopping the run, this is where Buffalo can expose them a little bit. Where Buffalo has to get better is stopping the run. They're giving up like 150 a game. Like they're going to have to limit explosive plays, stop getting so gashed in the run game. That's where they're gonna like kind of get back on track against Kansas City. But Kansas City's tough. But boys, we all know Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, regular season. Josh Allen is 4-1 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
So Cook matters, no question about it. You're going to have to score 30 if you're Buffalo to win this game at least. I think Cook matters, yes, but this game comes down to Josh Allen versus defensive line in Kansas City. If I'm Josh and I'm Joe Brady, who's their offensive coordinator, that defensive line's got to beat you. That defensive line hasn't done anything this year. It has been nearly as good as it has been in the past. If I'm Josh, and my mentality this weekend is I'm holding on to the football, and I'm trying to make big plays, because you're not going to beat this team 17-14 in Kansas City right now, and I'm not worried about that defensive line, at least what we've seen from that group this year.
You're saying you're not worried about the defensive line, and they just lost Ed Oliver, basically, for the majority of the season. He's out indefinitely with a torn biceps tendon. So there's another loss and another need that this team has to overcome.
And then there's the other side. And as I watched the Chiefs play Taylor on Monday night, all I could think to myself was, if I'm a big fan of them, all I'm doing the rest of the season is watching every single play to make sure everyone gets up. Because if they don't get hurt, they're going back to the Super Bowl. I don't see anybody, pardon me, I don't see anybody in the AFC stopping that team if all the guys that were on that offense.
Greeny, come on, Greeny.
Hey, listen,
drinking the
Who in
Kool-Aid.
the AFC is beating that
By the way,
team?
it's
what about
Denver with a healthy Surtain?
Yes.
Denver?
I don't listen. The way Patrick Mahomes extends
Are you
plays,
in a
like
Denver
any play over 6 seconds when he's throwing the ball,
Yeah.
he's got like over 600 yards. He does an amazing job extending plays, getting Rashid Rice's back, and then the relationship he has with Travis Kelce. You watch the game against the Commanders. Travis Kelce is into block and realizes that Pat's in trouble, steps away, tosses him a little one, gets about 60 yards. He's running about a 5.140 in that situation, but he's still getting an explosive
He put that head down and was
These guys, they understand how to play together, and when they're at full capacity, there really might not be another team that can beat them, especially with
You
that
don't
defense.
agree with my feeling that Kansas City looks inevitable. I mean, they look,
They
if they're healthy,
they look
unstoppable.
they look like the best team in the AFC. But the playoffs are one game, and Indianapolis has been tough, and Denver has been tough, and other teams will be riding into the playoffs with momentum. Look, the Chiefs may be favored, but you can't say they're inevitable and that they're going.
Listen, the Broncos, we should have this conversation again a little bit later. The Broncos offense did nothing against the Jets. They did nothing for 3 quarters against the Giants, and then came back and won a miracle game. They looked really good last week against the Dallas team. That's going to make everybody look good. And as far as, look, I will be rooting like crazy for Daniel Jones. I love that story. And I would love it to end with him riding off on his teammate's shoulders. But Daniel Jones versus Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game, I mean, which way are we looking?
Okay, yes, of course. But if you want me to tell you that Kansas City offensively is the hardest team to match up against,
yes,
I'm telling you Indy's second, and it ain't far. That offense is brutal to have to deal with and to match up against when it comes to their physical talent.
Back at the bottom of the hour, our game is called Fraud, Fraudier, and Fraudiest. If you've been with us on these Thursdays, you know the bussin' guys. Taylor is dressed as a hot dog.
What are you laughing at?
No, nothing.
He said bussin' guys, followed it with a laugh. Maybe it's the hot dog. But
Does he not respect us in the workplace?
Taylor Poupon. Anyway, all morning long, he's got the different costumes, which I like. But anyway, every week, you guys say someone's a fraud. That seems to be a term that you like using.
More Will, but yes.
So we're going to do fraud, fraudier, and
Yeah.
fraudiest.
Bones.
So the fraud is the third biggest fraud. Give me the third biggest fraud team in the entire
Right, this is
NFL.
like Cold Stone Creamery, like it, love it, gotta have it, but
Exactly.
the reverse bad. My first fraud is going to have to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. We talk about generational talents all the time on this show. I am of the opinion Trevor Lawrence is not a generational quarterback. He's 26-41 in his career, and he's never thrown for more than 25 touchdowns. Gentlemen?
This team started so well, and I think we had these thoughts, and all of a sudden it's just gone the opposite direction. I mean, Dan, what are I don't even know the Colts have left them in their dust.
I would disagree, Fraud. This is what this team needs, though. Consistency from Trevor Lawrence and the pass catchers. There's been highs, too many lows, specifically when this offense and pass game faces zone defense. It's a very bad pass game. Man, they crush. Zone, they have to figure out ways to be better against zone cap coverage.
They look like they're running the lines on the paper, and that's offensively. It looks like they're all individually being tasked with something, but it doesn't come together because they're a young group,
Still
collectively talented, but they're not they're not gelling as an offense where the plays make sense.
Jaguars frauds?
I hate going all the way to fraud because I like them early in the season.
But this is the third tier fraud.
Since the massive win, 31-28 over the Chiefs, they've only put up a combined 19 points. They're bottom of the league in generating pressure, getting to the quarterback. And with the drops, too, like they lead the league in the NFL with 22 drop passes.
Again.
A hot fraud. They're on the alert. But,
They're on the alert.
Alert fraud.
It's a
Alert
tiered
fraud.
system, gentlemen.
Alert fraud.
It's a tiered
In
system.
London was ridiculous. They should be so comfortable there. They play in London every single year. They went there and didn't compete
Yeah, it was
at
ugly.
all
Yeah.
with the
Bad.
Rams.
Check fraud.
I'm with you on fraud. Okay, even Fraudier. Who's the next? Who's an even bigger fraud?
Something that's really starting to burn my buns right now. That's the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, he's fantastic in the first quarter. He's throwing over 70% completion. And you get into the second, third, and fourth quarter, and he's down in the 50s. Ben Johnson loves a quarterback that plays on time, that takes his drop back, hitches, and throws. And the defense, they look good because they're opportunistic, but statistically, they're not a great defense.
So he's questioning Caleb Williams. Let's be frank for a moment here. if we
Nice.
can.
I like that.
Dan, what are you seeing from Caleb right now?
The same issues that have plagued him since college. I said wait till November till we made an evaluation on Caleb, okay?
close.
We're just about there.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has as many games where he's held the ball for an average of 3 or more seconds this year than Jared Goff had in 3 seasons with Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams has 6 this year games where his average time to throw is over 3 seconds. We're playing too slow still. And I wanted to give him a grace period. Wait till November. Dude, it still hasn't gotten better.
He's 24 games into his career. And listen, I was critical
it's his first
of
year
like
again.
putting Caleb in like this elite tier before he even got going. But look at all the quarterbacks that are doing well. To your point, you got to give him time. Yeah, it's going to be rough at times. I'm still encouraged by what I see from Caleb Williams. It's going to be a slow process.
You're encouraged in regards to what?
He's 7 games into a new offensive coordinator. He still has a bunch of talent. He still looks better this year than he did a year ago. And it's going to take time.
Drake May is 7 games into a new offensive
Everybody
coordinator.
develops at a different rate. I am
would
not
say
completely
this.
out 24 games into
I'm
Caleb.
discouraged, and the question really is he getting better or has the offense improved?
Dan's going to have a tape in our second hour today over a little more on Caleb. Bears a fraud?
Yeah, I would say Bears are fraud. Danny O, we were talking about the takeaways last week, how opportunistic this team has been, but they're 25th in points, they're 25th in yards. They are masked. The way that they are picking the ball off, creating turnovers, it's masking a bad defense because they are bottom 7 in about every category.
Okay, Taylor, you're on a roll.
Thank you.
Let's go to the biggest one. That was a pun.
That was the hot
let's go to
dogs.
The biggest fraud, the Fraudiest.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest fraud?
fraud
in the NFL?
vigilante.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. This one might be personal a little bit, but those Pittsburgh Steelers, man, I picked them to win the AFC North this year. Aaron Rodgers, I thought if we were going to be let down by the Steelers, it would have been because of Aaron Rodgers. He's too old. He's too slow. He's not durable anymore. But my God, that defense. $179 million, Will? Are you kidding me?
$179 million. Second oldest defense in the league, too. It might be time to get behind the shed, take them behind the shed.
Old Yeller.
Over the last couple games, 924 yards, 68 points. This is a fraud. This is the fraudiest team.
How do you take him serious?
I'm trying as hard as I can.
I'm a real journalist, okay?
Yeah. I got issues with their defense, absolutely.
I mean,
and this is a bad
massive
matchup. This is a bad matchup this coming game against Indianapolis. They do not match up. Pittsburgh defensively will not and does not match up well against Indy's offense.
Let's talk about that game, okay? If the Steelers needed a get-right game, playing the Colts is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. The Colts have been far and away the best offense in the NFL this season, leading the league in total yards at 385 per game, which could spell big trouble for a Steelers team that ranks 30th on defense. Pick up that thought and run with it.
Indy's offense is the second hardest offense in the AFC to match up against, just people-wise. We'll put Kansas City at first. But when it comes to people, and I don't care defensively if you're going to play a zone defense versus them or a man defense versus them, like who do you have or who do you want near them that you trust? Number one, I'll start with like their big kind of bodies on the perimeter and then their slot receiver. Josh Downs is as quick and as sudden, as twitchy as anybody in the NFL. So who do you trust to kind of be near him to cover that space in the middle of the field? The second thing is their rookie tight end, Tyler Warren. Once again, he's big, he's strong, he's got massive, strong hands. Who do you want near him when it comes to just making plays on the football from a defensive perspective? Michael Pittman Jr., not the fastest receiver in the NFL, but once again, you're challenged with a big, strong, physical receiver that makes these contested catches. Who do you trust to be in space with them? You know what receiver leads the NFL in yards per catch? Alec Pierce does. And he is a 6'4", strong, long athlete that makes, again, these contested catches down the field. And so when it comes to just matching up against at least their perimeter players offensively in Indy, they're as hard to match up with just people-wise as anybody in that conference.
Look, the bottom line of it is this. The NFL schedule makers do an unbelievable job, but they didn't see the Colts coming. And by that, I mean they've not been in any of the big primetime windows, any of the big, that 425 game. I feel like people haven't seen a lot of the Colts right now. So I think it's great that you do a tape like that so people are learning. Yeah, they know that Daniel Jones is having a good year.
Alec Pierce leads the NFL in yards per catch.
Underline that like 4 times. That's the point that I'm making. And then you've got Jonathan Taylor having an MVP caliber season. The team is legit, yes?
The team is more than legit. They have so much talent. More importantly, they are well coached because you're seeing a version of Daniel Jones that we have never seen. Yes, he's played good at times, but it is a stark contrast between where he was a year ago with the Giants and where he is now with the Colts. And for me, it begs the question, why couldn't we get this out of him in day ball with the Giants? There is something to be said there because the way they're running this offense, how definitive, how confident Daniel Jones is playing, he knows where his outlet's going to be, when and where, and also he's playing horizontally, he's reading through progression. He's the version of Daniel Jones that you hoped for when he was drafted top 10 in the first place. That should be taken into account. He is with coaching that is getting the most talent out of him, and it's not like Sam Darnold where he's gone from this track to that track. He's had reps, he's had adversity. A year ago today, he was the Giants' starting quarterback.
That's actually an interesting take. As a general, go ahead, Jeff.
To me, it's an indictment of how difficult it is to play in the New York metropolitan area. We have Sam Darnold thriving in Seattle. In New York, he was seeing ghosts and couldn't make it here. In New York, Daniel Jones, the Giants couldn't wait to give up on him. Released him outright. He signs with Minnesota. And all of a sudden, all these other teams are interested in Daniel Jones. The Vikings want him. There were other teams that wanted him. Trust me on this. And the Colts wanted him. And the Colts have turned him into a certifiable MVP candidate while Sam Darnold is thriving in Seattle. I think it's as much an indictment on how difficult it is to play quarterback in this market.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline is how different the roster makeup was for Daniel Jones in New York than it has been in Indianapolis. I just went on a wax poetic of how talented Indy is. New York never had anything remotely close to that. Daniel Jones, that year they went to the playoffs, the first year for Brian Daboll, it was the best that we had seen him play outside of this year. So Brian Daboll got him performing at a decently high level, but I really believe a lot of quarterbacks that can play point guard, which is what Daniel's doing, would be playing at a pretty darn high level in Indy.
And I think you're right how talented they are, Dan. But coming into the season, we wouldn't have said it at that level.
Shot.
They're a coach and they're playing well together, which is why we can see their talent. How can that not also be the case when he's a quarterback somewhere else?
I will give you this. Daniel has played in one specific area differently and better than he has this year than ever before, and that's under pressure. He has always been bad under pressure. Go back to college. It's always been his flaw. He's been unbelievable under pressure this year.
Hey, I'll say this to you. The Colts might have the coach of the year in Shane Steichen, the offensive player of the year in Daniel Jones, the MVP in Jonathan Taylor, the Rookie of the Year in Tyler Warren.
So reverse them, you're saying. Give the MVP to the running back and the Offensive Player of the Year to the quarterback. I see you're always a step ahead of everybody. That's why he's Schefter.
All right,
more or less is our next game. Danny, presented by ESPN Ben Sportsbook. We got Ravens, Dolphins tonight. The number on Lamar Jackson, who will be back, 272.5 combined passing and rushing. Lamar, what do we think?
Yeah, I'm going to say more. Finally healthy. Lamar Jackson is absolutely spectacular. When he's healthy and this offense is whole, he puts up historically great numbers. And I expect that from Lamar tonight. This is a defense in Miami that played better last week, but it still is a weak unit. Lamar should have a big night.
How about the other side? 1.5 touchdown passes, Tua.
Yeah, I'm going to say more. What I saw from Tua last week, it looked like freaking Tua, man. Like, cut the ball loose. Trust what your eyes are telling you. When you see that window, rip it. He made some plays with his feet down in the red zone, and just that timing element of their offense was back. I liked what I saw from Tua. I want to see it another week in a row. I'm going to say more.
And then Rex said last week they need to dehydrate Derrick Henry. 90.5 rushing yards is his number for tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, once again, I'm going to say more. I mentioned Miami's defense. It has not been a good unit this year. I was encouraged with the style, the way that they played last week. I also think having Patrick Ricard back tonight for the Baltimore Ravens, that matters in their run game. I'm going to say more for Derrick Henry.
Over, says Dan, on Lamar, on Tua, and on the King. If you like those plays, they're a parlay on the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. Look for the more or less featured parlay